high on the Jets this year, man. I bet them over 9.5 wins. I bet them at a better price right now, plus 190 to win the East. This is more a fade on the rest of the division. I think the Patriots, there's a good chance they win 2 games this season. That might even be too many. The Dolphins beat one playoff team last year. They went 1-6 against playoff teams, I believe. And 2 of those games, they gave up over 40 points. Like, remember the New Year's Day? I believe it was New Year's Day, the game against Baltimore. And, like, they had everything right in front of them, where all they had to do was win, and they had home field advantage in the number 1 seed in the AFC. That's how Miami wins in the playoffs, dude, because Tua's never going into Arrowhead or anywhere below 40 degrees and winning a playoff game. I'm sorry. I wanted to believe last year. I bet the Dolphins plus 4.5 against the Chiefs, and it was one of the worst bets I've ever placed in my life. Vic Fangio's already gone. I'm writing off the Dolphins for this season. The Bills just lost too much. I don't really care so much about Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis because Josh Allen, I think, is awesome. But it's more the defense, man. Like, I won't be shocked if McDermott's out after next year. Von Miller had as many sacks last year as you and I. You lost Jordan Poyer. You lost Trey White. You lost Micah Hyde. Matt Milano's coming off an injury-filled season or a neck injury. So I like the Jets because on paper, that's the best defense in football. And Rodgers doesn't even need to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. Breece Hall is another year removed from that ACL injury and was still awesome last year. Garrett Wilson could be a top 5 receiver in this league for many, many years. But looking at Rodgers' numbers, would you do anything with these to lead the league in passing? 25-1, not bad. To lead the league in passing touchdowns, 10-1. His MVP price, 20-1, plus 130 to win comeback player of the year. I'm going to stop myself right there. Aaron Rodgers is not winning any of these awards, dude. He's not winning. Like, remember the last MVP he won where we had writers coming out like, oh, I didn't vote for this guy because he's a jerk. Everything that's going on with him off the field, do you think he's going to get any votes? If I'm doing anything, I'm betting over 26.5 touchdown passes. That would be the only thing I'd bet.
It would have to be indisputable, right? Like, not even close. Like, I mean, you'd have to, I think there's going to be too much infatuation with, Burrow and Stroud, quite honestly. For me to get involved there. But I am in complete agreement with you on the larger picture of the New York Jets. I mean, it's just this is the moment. This is the year. Because look, Buffalo vulnerable. They just are. I mean, in every single opportunity they've had to kind of take the next step, they have not done that. And now, like, a lot of question marks. Josh Allen's going to keep them relevant because he's Josh Allen, and he's going to find a way to do that. But, I mean, what are we talking about here? His top 2 pass catchers are Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir. I mean, it gets pretty thin after that. So I think, if you're getting a plus sign for the Jets, again, if they just had competency, sort of this week-to-week PTSD we were going through with Zach Wilson or whoever it ended up being with the Jets, I mean, they were still sort of in games, kind of ish. So you talk about going from that to a healthy Aaron Rodgers. I just don't know how they don't have a great year. I mean, it would just have to be Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again. That's the only way I see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why I wouldn't really want to do anything with the numbers. I mean, 26.5 touchdowns. If he plays an entire season, 80% of the season, he's probably throwing for at least 28 touchdown passes. That number seems a little short. But at the same time, I mean, I hate the term game manager, but and Rodgers is much, much better. He still has way more. Like, remember that last year of Peyton Manning, dude, where he couldn't push the ball 15 yards down the field? He got benched. The Broncos won a Super Bowl, but they didn't win a Super Bowl because of Peyton Manning. They won a Super Bowl because of that defense. I think Rodgers still has it. But, like, I think they're going to run the ball more, man. Like, Breece Hall could have a monster year. Yeah. I would rather than play any of these, like 3,670 passing yards, rather than do any of that. I would rather play Garrett Wilson, Offensive Player of the Year. Look, you brought it up, man. Look what he's done the last 2 years, his first 2 years with Mike White, Zach Wilson, Chris Streveler, or whatever the hell that guy's name is that was getting run a couple of years ago. Last year, Tim Boyle made a start in the National Football League last year, dude. Like, so I would rather play Garrett Wilson season long props. But that'd be the way that I would look. Also, I do think that there's a possibility that they make a move for Devontae Adams. I don't think that they should. I mean, yeah, like on paper sounds awesome. If this is Madden, you do it 100 out of 100 times. But that's like my only thing with the Jets, man, and like with Woody is they seem like like Rodgers pretty much runs the show. I get that. I mean, there's a reason why Nathaniel Hackett is still calling plays. You know, I don't know. They kind of remind you of like like they treat football like they treat the National Football League like it's a game of Madden though. Like last year, you know, going out and getting Alan Lazard, paying him all that money, bringing in Randall Cobb for Rodgers. The Delvin Cook thing made absolutely no sense. Delvin Cook's the oldest 26-year-old on this planet. Like, why in the world? And you had, I know Breece Hall was coming off an ACL injury, but like that didn't make any sense. So I don't know that they should, but if they do, damn, then I'm playing all the Aaron Rodgers prop. I feel like this has to be a make or break year for Robert Saleh. Like I think this team probably has to win double-digit games, make the playoffs, maybe even win a playoff game. Because I agree, that's kind of my issue. Like with this team, the thing that scares me a little bit is it's almost like you got the inmates running the asylum, and it's the Aaron Rodgers show. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett has a job probably for one reason and one reason only: Aaron Rodgers. And I love Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator. I'm just not sure if he's a good head coach yet. Which I don't think is really fair because, like you said, Rodgers went down 4 plays into the season. But your thoughts on the job that he's done so far as a head coach, and is this, you know, a make or break year? Is he on the hot seat?
Yeah. I mean, they have to make the playoffs. I mean, not too many coaches, especially in this day and age, can say that they've had 3 consecutive losing seasons and still keep their job for a fourth. So, yeah. He has to make the playoffs. I mean, his job is on the line. Joe Douglas's job is on the line. Quite frankly, Aaron Rodgers' job might be on the line too, because if you have a new coach that comes in there, they're probably going to want, if the Jets are really bad, they're probably going to want their own quarterback, and they're going to essentially start over from scratch almost there, except keeping a lot of the young core there. So, yeah, I mean, they have to win for a variety of different reasons there. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, as you talked about it, Robert Saleh has, you know, it remains to be seen if he's a head coach in this league. I mean, the proof is in the pudding there. Like he's under 500 there, nearly 2-1 his first 3 years in the league there. But the fact of the matter is, you know, you talk about the injuries to Aaron, but other teams have overcome injuries. Last year was basically the year of the backup quarterback. You know, you saw it with the Cleveland Browns. Their defense was just as good as the Jets. They ended up bringing in Joe Flacco, of all people, who was with the Jets, to be honest with you. And they found a way to make the playoffs despite all the injuries and everything that they had. So if they could do it, then why can't a team like the Jets, who also had an outstanding defense last year, couldn't do it? So, yeah, it's time. Like, the Jets have the current longest streak of not making the playoffs in North American sports. So, and Woody Johnson, the owner, is not very happy. He was not happy after last season there. Felt like, you know, they just relied on Zach Wilson to, you know, come in and didn't necessarily, you know, upgrade the backup quarterback position. They have done that with Tyrod Taylor. But, yeah, they have to make the playoffs, or it's going to be major, major changes across the line.